And Arvind Chidambaram at the UZ Chess Cup, the UZ Chess Cup 2025 in Tashkent, Uzbekistan. Prag and Arvind both have played against each other recently at the Stepan Avagian, where they finished joint first, and here is another super tournament that they are in action. The clock has started. The picture is a little grainy here, apologies for that, but I hope you'll enjoy this game. Pawn to e4 played here by Arvind, and let's see what Prag responds back. He plays pawn to e5, and we have some reporters coming in between. The first 5 minutes are meant for the reporters to come in, and so we might have some blockage of the view, but then very soon it'll all be fine. So knight c6 comes out by Prag, and Arvind plays knight to c3. He does not go for Italian or the Ruy Lopez. He plays his knight out to c3. The knight comes out to f6, attacking the pawn on e4. And Prag puts his bishop, Arvind puts his bishop out on c4. We have the Italian game, but with the knight having developed on c3, which makes the position very symmetrical. Pawn to d3. When the knight is not here, white does push the pawn to c3, and then there's a black knight already on c6, so that creates the imbalance. But here that doesn't exist. Both of them kind of repeating or copying what the other player is doing. h3 played, stopping bishop g4. I think what Arvind essentially wants is to play a non-theoretical game here. Knight to a5 played by Prag, and he wants this bishop here. And Arvind brings back the bishop to b3. It's a very big surprise for me that giving up that bishop could actually work in this position. Generally we make this bishop the Spanish bishop or the Italian bishop, and it's supposed to be really strong. But maybe after take, white could still claim a very small edge with the rook opening up and with the ideas of d4 in the position. Prag pushes pawn to h6, stopping the bishop from coming to g5 to pin the knight. And now Arvind pushes his pawn to d4. The position is opening up. It is getting sharper. Pragnananda first takes the bishop. Now taking on c5 does not make sense because you would lose the rook here. So a takes b3 taken. And now you have to take on d4. Otherwise you lose a pawn here on e5. So takes, knight takes. And what can we say about this position? I personally think that this position is very interesting in the sense that white has slightly more space, well placed pieces, and black on the other hand is a little bit not so well placed in terms of his pieces. But like this bishop on c8, where does it go? So Prag is trying to solve the problem. He's saying, like, I'll take your knight and I'll chop off this pawn in the center. If you want to keep it, you have to play f3. And perhaps f3 is not a great idea. Knight a2 played by Arvind, attacking the bishop. And I guess bishop a5 or bishop c5. He brings back the bishop to c5, b4 played. Now there's no time to take this pawn. If you take bishop takes, I'll take with the queen, defending the pawn. So Prag goes with his bishop back to b6, but now I can come back knight to c3. It seems like white has improved his position slightly. But I believe Prag's next idea is rook e8 to put even more pressure on the e4 point. Yes, rook e8 played, attacking the e4 pawn with his knight. White knight is defending it. Queen comes to f3, increasing the defense. Can we increase one more attacker here? It's possible, but for now Prag goes bishop d7. And now bishop to d7. He plays rook fe1. Arvind playing this calmly, improving his position, wants to get the rook into the center. Pawn to a5 played here by Pragnananda. He's trying to break out. He wants some space, but maybe b5 pushes it even further. Yes, pawn to b5 played. A good move here by Arvind. Gets up. Prag is playing bishop to c5. He plays his bishop up here. And I guess it's time to get your final piece into the game. Rook a d1. Although the rook is very active on the a file, he plays it to d1. And the rook stands opposite the queen. Pressure down the d file. Maybe I can go knight b3, attacking the bishop. Push e5 at the right time. Let's see, many possibilities here for white. Prag goes a4. He's trying to create play down the a file. Maybe a3 takes, rook a3, get the rook in. Bishop f4 played by Arvind. Looking here. Maybe knight f5 next is what he wants to do. a3 played here. But this might not be the best move by Prag, because now after b takes a3, let's imagine rook takes a3 if you take. Then there is knight to b3, which is very powerful, and if you move your bishop back, already e5 comes in, rooks open up, and this is not what you want. So he first takes the knight, which is the logical thing to do. Rook takes by Arvind, and now Prag takes the pawn. Rook takes a3. And maybe a very good idea is rook d3 here. Just block the pin and you are slightly better with ideas of b6. Instead goes b6 directly. Pushes the pawn, keeps pressure on these points. And the threat is b takes, queen takes, bishop d6, attacking the queen and the rook. So rook e6 played here by Prag. A good move defending here. And let's see how Arvind plays further. He plays rook e3. I like this move. He defends the knight. Also just keeps the position safe. There could be bishop h6 sacrifices with the rooks ready to swing over and checkmate the black king. Prag goes knight e8. Being very, very sure about his plans, he defends the c7 and d6 points. And so b takes c7 played. Queen takes c7. And rook comes to d3 here, trying to put pressure down on d6 pawn. It was also possible to jump in with knight d5 and attack here and here, but there would have been rook a3. So he goes rook d3. Prag brings the queen up to c5. The pawn on d6 is very well guarded for now, 3 times. And there's also pressure down the c file. So although it looks visibly a very good position for white, black has his own trump cards. Rook attacks the queen. And I believe that the queen will go ahead. Queen c4. Just keeping an eye on all the squares in the position. And Arvind brings the rook back. Is it a small sign of repetition that's coming in? Queen c5 played. It might be a good result for Prag for sure. because he starts off with the black pieces. For Arvind as well, not a bad result considering that it's the first round and he's playing Pragnananda. So queen c4, rook d4, Prag comes back, and I think he'll play queen c5. Yes, he plays his queen back to c5, and I believe they will agree to a draw here.